Hello, my name is Abigail, and on this channel I talk about books and things that I'm passionate about, and right now that is my August wrap up. Before we really get into this video, I want to mention that I'm aware of my appearance. I just got off of work a little while ago, and it was a rough day, so we're gonna roll with it. I do want to also mention that I'm aware that my hair looks like this, have a little V clip in it, so I get that it doesn't look good from the front, but it looks good from the side. So we're gonna just let it happen. We're gonna let it be. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my stats. In the month of August, I read 8 books, which feels a little sad to me. Terrible voice clip editing in to say that one of the reasons that I feel I didn't read as much this month is because I actually am in the middle of several other books, and not my favorite thing that I didn't complete those, but I didn't complete those. It is what it is. I think I'm in the middle of 3, 4. I'm in the middle of 4-ish books that I picked up, read some of in the month of August, but I just didn't complete for whatever reason. Whether it was just the vibe was wore off, or I had to set something down to start something else. There are 4 books that I touched in the month of August that I did not get to complete because of whatever reason. So really, if you think about it like that, I probably, if I had focused on one of these books, I could have added another one to it, but I digress. It is what it is. Ultimately, it's fine because I will very likely have better reading months and I will always have shittier reading months. So it's all right. The majority of those books were somewhere between 300 and 500 pages. All of them were fiction, which seems about right for me. The majority, actually, it's clocking that 6 of the 8 were romance, with 1 being fantasy and 1 being young adult, which I would consider that fantasy also to have romance subplot and also the young adult to have a romance subplot. So I'm going to say that all 8 books had a romance element, with 2 of them being fantastical, 2 of them being contemporary settings, or at least logged as contemporary settings, 1 being erotica, 1 being a young adult. And most of the books that I read this month were physical. There were 2 books that I read that were audio. The rest of them were physical. We get some pretty decent ratings this month. I did give a 5-star, which if you have been following me, you know that's pretty rare and it's hard to do. But I did give 1 5-star, 1 4.5 star, 4 4 stars, and 1 3.5 star. If you watched my June-July combo wrap-up, you know I talked about 2 books that I technically read in August, but I was trying to keep them together in the other vlog, because I did a vlog where I was talking about 3 books. Anyways, the point is I read 3 books for a vlog that spanned from late July to early August, and I wanted to, in my brain, it felt like it would be a better idea to combine the books, keep the books that I had read in one blog in the same month, even though I didn't read it in the same. Long story short, I want to mention them again because I did read them in the month of August, and my stats for August look a little lackluster, so I want to mention them now so that it looks like I read more. All right. So the first book that I read in the month of August, or the first book I should say that I finished in the month of August, is called Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. Mostly my thoughts were, it's fine. Our main character, whose name is Maya, is the younger sister and of Connor's best friend. So it's an age gap, like a big age gap romance. Also, like, kind of sort of exes, and it takes place in Italy, where we go back and forth between then and now over the course of them knowing each other, and ultimately, as a romance implies, getting together. I don't really have a lot of feelings about it. I read it, it happened, it's fine. I also read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and I'm genuinely not sure if Ali Hazelwood is an author I should continue reading from. I have read some things where if I didn't get along with this book, I might get along with this other book. And so I'm going to continue to give Ali Hazelwood as an author a try. Deep End was fine for me. It was like a 3-star, and so was this one. So I'm going to keep attempting, and, if after 3 strikes she's out, so be it. The next book that I read in the month of August, or finished in the month of August, is Till Summer Do Us Part. 5 stars. Megan Quinn, 5 stars. 5 stars. I was laughing out loud. I spent so much of this time reading this book, and, like, granted, I didn't give it as much attention as I should have. I was on vacation, I was doing stuff, things were happening. I wasn't really fully invested in this story until I had already been in the middle of it for a little while. Every time I picked this book up, I found something to laugh at. It was truly hysterical, like laugh out loud type of responses that this book was getting from me. I mean, it fairly simply put, I will be picking up anything else that I can get my hands on by Megan Quinn. So, a real quick synopsis of this one is Scotty is in some kind of workplace where everyone is married, and she just kind of like mentions that she's married, and they call her out on it, but she doubles down. And so now she's got to prove that she has a husband. And so she says, We're actually on the rocks. That's why I'm not wearing a ring. And her boss just happens to be married to a couples therapist, and they are invited on I think it's like a week long couples retreat. And I mean, just, it is so hilarious. If fake dating is something that you're into, this is a vibe. This is a complete vibe. I highly recommend this book. I will be thinking about this for a really long time. The next book that I read in the month of August is A Recipe Called Home by Stephanie Nelson. This is a book that I picked up from an independent bookstore called Tales and Tales in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I did an entire vlog on this book. I went to the bookstore, I picked this book up, I did a little bit of shopping, and I have an entire vlog dedicated to both that independent bookstore as well as this book. If you are interested in hearing my thoughts, you can click on that video. Jules, who goes back to her hometown because her grandmother needs assistance. She had some surgery and she needs help just kind of getting back to daily life. And in the process, she reconnects with Miles, which is her ex, and there was like some ghosting that happened, and it's like, why did they ultimately break up? Will they get back together? It's a romance. The answer is yes. I don't really think that's a spoiler, but I think really with romances, despite the ending all being yes, they're together, because if they don't end up together, it's not a romance. I think this journey specifically was interesting because of the fact that they never had like a falling out. They just stopped talking. Like, one day they were together and the next day they weren't. And while we may have taken the entirety of this book to get to why they stopped being together, I think that I would still pick up another book from this author. My main goal when I go into an independent bookstore is to pick a book that is authored by someone who is local to that area. So it was important for me to pick up an author that was local to Fredericksburg, Virginia. Extra bonus points if the book takes place in that area, around that area. Extra bonus points if it's independently published. This was independently published and the author is local to the area. This book, however, did not necessarily take place in Fredericksburg, Virginia, but I would say all in all, my experience with Fredericksburg, Virginia, Tales and Tales in this book was pretty good. I gave this book 3.5 stars, and I am interested to see, there is a second book coming out of the Grandma story, and I will probably be picking Grandma's story up. The next book that I picked up in the month of August was a novella, very short little baby thing, and this is called Blood Moon. I was in the mood for some monster romance, and I will make no apologies for it. This book was super short. It's about Hazel, who is a witch, and the mailman character, Vlad, is a vampire. It is about them sort of coming together. It's only like 106 pages. So the plot is super fast moving. I really enjoyed it. I read it in like an hour and change on like getting ready to basically go to work. I woke up super early one day and was like, let me read some Monster Smut. So I read some Monster Smut and I had a really good time. All in all, I would definitely pick up. I think there's another one of these books in this sort of Strange Moon novella sort of series, I would pick up the other one for sure. Because this plot is very fast moving and because this book is so short, I don't really want to give too much away. But with her being a witch and him being a vampire and them sort of having businesses that are competitors, what is going to survive? Their sort of little romance fling or both of their businesses? I don't know. I really enjoyed this. 4 stars. When I rate novellas and monster smut, I really don't think very critically. It's very vibes based, and the vibes were 4 stars. The next book that I read in the month of August is Well Actually, and this is by Maisie Eddings. I had a very similar experience with this one as I did to Till Summer Do Us Part. I was laughing. I was laughing so much. I feel actually really privileged that I read both of these books the way that I did, where they took more than just a day to read. Like, there's some books that I fly through. There are some books that, even if it's like a 300 page, 400 page book, I can read it in a day, and like maybe some extra on the second day. These both of these books took me about a week because of stuff that was going on in my life, and I'm really actually pleased that I got to spend more time with these books. This one is about Eva and her ex Riley. And one day, after a strange day of eating hot dogs for work, as Eva does, she's on her phone on social media and she comes across Riley. Now, Riley Cooper is her ex, and he and her, they don't really get along because uh, basically he ghosted her after they hooked up. And, like, first of all, that's not cool. But second of all, now he's on social media talking about how you shouldn't ghost women. Don't hook up with them and ghost them. Don't bring them over to frat parties. And he did all of these things. And while she's eating her hot dogs, which she does it on a show that reminds me of Hot Ones, but also that podcast where that girl, I think it's called Call Her Daddy or Call Me Daddy or something like that, where she's very like bitchy on purpose. That's her shtick. Her show is a combination of Hot Ones and Call Me Daddy. And so she already has a social media following. So when she just happens to stitch this video that he makes, calling him out on all his bullshit, he has to make amends. And he has to make amends publicly. And he has a podcast. So he comes on her show and she goes on his show. And I just, I was laughing. I was laughing out loud. This is another, I think I gave this one a 4.5. I really enjoyed my time with this, and I will definitely be picking up more of Maisie Eddings' books. The next book that I read in the month of August is The Blood of Hercules. I finally got around to this book. This is one of my 7 before 2026 or whatever I decided I was going to call that video. Basically, I picked 7 books that I wanted to get read before 2026, and this was one of them because I bought it because it was stunning and beautiful, and I love Greek mythology, and I hadn't gotten to it. So I was like, you know what? Let's put it on this list. So I finally got around to it, and I do have to say that I had a really good reading month because this is another book where I was enjoying my time. I was laughing out loud. They're going through it. Like, Alex, our main character, is going through it. Like, she is literally in the fucking trenches, but she is hysterical. This is one of those books that doesn't really take itself too seriously. Like, yes, it's got a lot of plot, and we are building to something more with the second book that releases in October of this year. However, this book was such a fun time despite the high stakes, and you can definitely feel that the stakes are high, at least while she's in like the school and the trials and whatnot. The Blood of Hercules is set in like 2070 or something like that. It's not like super super far off, but it's definitely in the future. And our main character, Alex, her family has a lot of hard times. She is a foster child, and her foster parents are shitty people, and eventually she has to take care of herself. And when one day they're doing tests in school and it is discovered that she has Herculean blood, everything kind of takes off from there. She's taken away from her life that she knows, her high school, and she is immediately put into the trials. And I can't say anything negative about this book. This is a book that I'm genuinely looking forward to reading the sequel of. And I mean, obviously, I want to read it, but like, I'm genuinely looking forward to when I can own the second book, look at them next to each other on my shelf, and listen to the second book. I really, really enjoyed the audiobook. If you are even questioning if you want to read this, don't even question it. Just grab the audiobook because the audiobook was fantastic. I did sort of try and tandem read it, but I mean, the audiobook was so good, I almost didn't want to press pause. If you do choose to physically read it, there's a lot of little fun stuff right here, like the 12 houses of Sparta, and it has like a little family tree over here, and then the chapter headers are really fun also. They've got little chapter heads, which are fun. Like you have stuff like this, fun little things like that. I gave The Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass a 4.5. I have a very shameful one to share with you. I finally got around to reading 5 Feet Apart, and this is by Rachel Lippincott, Mickey Daughtry, and Tobias Laconis. I finally got around to reading this despite it being around for, gosh, years and years. I don't even know when this was originally published. Looks like it was originally published in 2018, so this book has been around for 7 years. Finally got my hands on it, finally read it, and this is a YA book, so I wasn't rating really critically. I did end up giving this book a 4 star, and it made me feel things. And for a YA book to do that, it's a little impressive. I'm not gonna lie, especially when you consider that I don't have feelings. 5 Feet Apart is about Stella and Will, who are both in the hospital at the same time. They both have cystic fibrosis. And cystic fibrosis patients need to stay 6 feet apart from each other, or they're at risk of really hurting each other. In this book, you definitely deal with grief. So please, trigger warning for grief. You're dealing with death, and trigger warning for death as well. But despite those heavy topics, it still felt like two teenagers falling in love. And I thought that this book was good. I'm glad that I finally picked it up. This book was a 4 star for me. The final book that I finished in the month of August is Outplayed. This is by Mina Miles. This was another one of those I went to an independent bookstores, so you'll have to wait for that blog to come out. But I really enjoyed this book. There were some things that I sort of struggled through. It felt a little bit like maybe um, some editing could have been done to it. There were some spots where a name was put in the wrong place, the wrong character was named, some punctuation issues, some word spelling issues, but I was able to look past it. Now, don't get me wrong, I had some complaints in the moment, but I enjoyed this book overall, and I am interested to see where the rest of the series goes, because this is Westchester University Book 1, so there's more to come, and I will definitely be picking those up. This is a book about Elena, who is a psychology major, and Jake, who is a hockey player. And his grade in one specific class, which just happens to be psychology, is slipping. So he needs a tutor, and she tutors him. But there's a little more to it, and I don't really want to spoil it. So I think that if you are interested in a college setting hockey romance with a athletic man and a smart woman, this is something that you should consider reading. At first, it was giving Daydreamer vibes, and Daydreamer is the third book in the Maple Hills trilogy. I enjoy this quite a bit. Even though it had similarities to Daydreamer, I think it stands out enough on its own to warrant me having read both of them, and me having read both of them in this year. Ultimately, I gave Outplayed by Mina Miles a 4. There you have it. These are the books plus one more that I read in the month of August. I'm pretty pleased with this stack. Despite it being a low number quantity, it was definitely a high quality month. I gave a 5 star, I gave a 4.5 star, and nothing that I read in the month of August was under a 3.5 star. So I will take it. We'll call it a day. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to come back because I do a lot of fun, in my opinion, fun vlog style content, and I enjoy watching vlogs, so that is my favorite thing to do. I find that these sort of sit down and chat for a couple minute videos are a little bit more difficult for me to film, So if this wasn't necessarily your vibe, please click on a blog, because I feel like I'm more myself, I'm more better in vlog style content. But that is going to be it for my August wrap up. I will see you in the next one.